Welcome to ClickFunnels Radio, the podcast that brings you the latest strategies, insights, and success stories from online marketers just like you who utilize funnels to grow their business. Our mission is simple: to help you unleash the true potential of your online business by harnessing the power of funnels. Join us every week as we bring you exclusive interviews and thought-provoking discussions that will revolutionize the way you approach online marketing. Here are your hosts, Laura Demetrius and Chris Cameron.
Welcome back out to ClickFunnels Radio. My name's Chris Cameron, and here as always with Laura Demetrius. And today, by the way, how are you, Laura?
I'm doing great. I'm here in Canton. It's fun. There's a lot of activity behind me if you're watching this on camera. So I apologize if you hear noise, but it is kind of exciting in the background.
You're where the sausage is made, like where everything is going into 2.0 to improve and just make this the best funnel builder on the planet and just keep it going. But hey, we are joined today by a good friend of mine, Doug Boughton. Doug, what is up, man? Coming to us live from San Diego.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me today. I'm excited to talk to you guys.
I have to notice too, when you just raised your hand there, you kind of talk with your hands a little bit, but I noticed you got a cast. You got to tell us what happened there.
Yeah, I got a little injury about 2 weeks ago, got excited about something I'm doing with house builds, knocked over a vase, tried to grab it and it broke and it sliced my finger. Went to Mexico regardless of what my doctor said to build some homes for families in need, and it got infected. So I have a few weeks of a healing journey ahead, but it's feeling a lot better. Swelling's down, pain's gone.
Hey, a lot of you may know Doug. Well, hey, I hope that heals really quick for you. But a lot of you know Doug, and if you're watching on video too, like over his left shoulder, we've got the Dream Car Award. And then we also have over his right shoulder, we've got the 2 Comma Club Award. Now, I want to ask you this. Which was more difficult to actually obtain?
Oh, man. I'm going to say Dream Car Award because, and not in a difficult way as far as like effort, it happened a lot faster. Believe it or not, it was like 66 days. I'll never forget when I started my Facebook community. But it was hard. I say it was more hard because it was my first journey to doing anything that I set a goal towards and going to achieve that. And there's a lot of things we tell ourselves. There's a lot of mindset blocks I had to work through to show up every day to go for it. So I think that's why. And I think that was a really great milestone to say, I could do this. I could go for that next thing I want to achieve. So
I want to dive into that story here in a second, but one of the cool things, if you don't know what the Dream Car Award is, ClickFunnels affiliate program, and ClickFunnels has grown massively by using this affiliate program. Best affiliate program in the business by far. And we will literally pay for your dream car. Doesn't matter what dream car you want if you'll get 100 active users under you. And then if you get 200 active users, we double that price that we pay towards your car. So I would agree with you, Doug. I think that's probably more exclusive. Like every year, sometimes we're giving out 300-400 2 Comma Club awards, and sometimes maybe like a dozen Dream Car Award winners. And that's where Doug and I met, is because, you know, Doug's been a powerhouse affiliate in our community for a long time. And it's cool because your story doesn't necessarily start that way. It's not even that long ago. You know, you've been scrappy, right? And become a household name, even to where, like, what was it? A few months ago, you and I ran into each other in Miami because Grant Cardone just invited a few affiliates to come down that he thought he would be the most effective in promoting. And of course, you know, Russell was one of them. I went down to represent ClickFunnels, but, you know, ran into you and Kelsey, and it was just really, really cool. So talk to us though, like, how did you go from, you know, being really scrappy 2018, 2019, not quite knowing what you're going to do, to having people like Grant Cardone invite you, you know, to their office, and then even finishing top 5 in ClickFunnels 2.0 affiliate launch?
Yeah, it was amazing. Met Grant Cardone through ClickFunnels launch, the 2.0 launch, when he came to speak, and just wanted to stay on the radar, get in front of him. He always says, who do I need to get in front of? How do I get their attention? And that was just a great opportunity for me. Finished number 8 on that leaderboard for his launch, and got to go to his house in Miami. We spent a weekend there, really amazing. But I think for me, it was like, what do we need to do? A lot of people that were top 10 on that promotion, even with the ClickFunnels 2.0 launch, a lot of people in the top 10 were big email lists, big audiences. And, you know, my email list isn't crazy. It's like 5,000 people. So I knew I had to do something a little bit different. And anytime I'm approaching...
Hold on, can we stop for 1 second? You're telling me currently, I didn't know this, your email list is only 5,000 people?
that I actively email. I have like 18,000, but a lot of them are, I clean it very tightly. If they haven't opened an email in 60 days,
Doug,
I clean it.
I have so many questions.
You are legit, man, for having 5,000 active. Like, and I just got to give you kudos to you. The reason that you were in that room when Grant came up is because we knew you had like the fuel and the power to do very, very well in the ClickFunnels 2.0 launch, which you did too. So kudos to you there too.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, I came from really just out of college. I dropped out of college my senior year. I couldn't get a student loan for my senior year. I needed new co-signers, and all I had was my mother and my grandmother, and they couldn't co-sign again. So I dropped out. I was doing sales, door-to-door sales and restaurant work in the evenings. And I just wanted to find a way to pay off that student loan debt. So I was kind of chasing, like, let me get out of this pain of this debt. How do I eliminate it? So I got really curious about making money online. Like most people think I just came overnight in 2019 and just got the dream car award, but it really was like 8 years. I've counted over 30 different opportunities I was trying to promote.
The 8-year overnight success story.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you, I was selling, started with ACN, network marketing company. A day later, I was promoting something new. It was really, shiny object was serious, but I sold everything from brain enhancement pills to like oxygen in a can called Oxygen for Energy, you name it. But it wasn't like until I found ClickFunnels around 2018 that I call it real. I found a real product, and that's something relatable to my journey, something I could earn with. Very, like you said, the best affiliate program in the world. Alignment. I mean, I couldn't find a better company, a better team, and Russell to align to their mission. And then longevity. I knew you guys would be around long term. Where a lot of these things in the past, I just were, 1 week, 1 month here and then gone. And I went all in and just really became fascinated with the tool that was, for me, easy to use, and trying to figure out WordPress and all those things. I'm not the techiest person. So that was like my introduction to ClickFunnels.
So how did you go from, shiny object syndrome? And, obviously a lot of people who know that they want to be entrepreneurs, they get so excited about the next thing. What do you think gave you that like laser focus? Like, was it actually the software itself? Like you knew that was sustainable for you? What was it?
The focus for me, because I was still, believe it or not, when I was using ClickFunnels, still all over the place for another 2 years, or about at least a year. And fall of 2018, I finally said, I'm going to quit my restaurant job. This is the time. I usually would say 6 more months. I finally just did it cold. And the reason I was able to is because of One Funnel Away Challenge. I saw this book, 30 Days book, and I'm like, this is awesome. And then I didn't know about the challenge until after I got the book. It came with the One Funnel Away Challenge. I think now it was like, buy the One Funnel Away Challenge, get the book as a bonus. So it was probably repositioned. But
for those who don't know, the 30 Days book, Russell co-authored with 30 of these 2 Comma Club Award winners. These people who'd made over $1 million. So yeah, Doug's got it right here. Is they all put in a chapter like, hey, if you lost everything and had to start over from scratch, how would you get from 0 to $1 million? And they outline, this is a ton of different industries. And so that's the book that Doug's referring to within this One Funnel Away Challenge. And that was a huge front end offer for us.
And it was amazing for the affiliates. I mean, I read that book. Really, I didn't have a product or an offer, so I went and read a few chapters. One was by Spencer Meckham, and really just dove into the affiliate side. Went through the challenge the first time, and kind of just paid attention. I didn't really implement. I just took notes and just learned. Went through it a second time and built out an offer. And then the third time I started promoting it, and that's where I made my first 22 sales. At the time, it's $100 commission, so I made $2,200. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to put in my notice and take this thing full time. I know I could do this. If I could do that in 2 weeks and earn what I did in 2 weeks in a month of serving tables, then this is going to be it. But to answer the question, it wasn't until the OFA challenge. I luckily got a spot on day 30 live with Stephen Larson, who was hosting it back then, and asked the audience, like, if you have multiple things, and it was like, what could you talk about every single day? What do you really want to do? And at the time I was doing restaurant marketing for the restaurant I was working in, plus a few others. I had a credit repair thing I was trying to get off the ground. And then ClickFunnels affiliate. And I was like, out of all these things, it's absolutely marketing and ClickFunnels. I'm going to go all in on this. and just let that ride. And it was that question that Steven asked me that said, I gotta, if you ever heard of sunk cost fallacy, which sometimes it's hard to let things go. I mean, I had a course about the launch, books, all for the credit repair stuff. And I had 8 clients for the restaurant. I let everything go. Went all in on the ClickFunnels affiliate for One Funnel Away challenge, thanks to your contest, which was such a cool leaderboard to be on because it was a 6-month competition. I knew if I had 6 months, I could compete with the bigger names with bigger audiences, and ended up number 2 on that board, and really got to meet Russell for the first time at headquarters. And we went to Lake McCall with Dave and Miles in the top 10 affiliates. So that was really special.
That's awesome. And this seems to be a pattern for you, these leaderboards, because, as we jump into 2.0, we knew that you were going to have some firepower as well, brought you up to Boise, we hung out. But then, man, you just crushed. And I think you finished, what, 3rd in that contest?
3rd. Yeah. I was number 2 for up until midnight. Me and Gusten were going back and forth.
I remember that. I remember
DMs. It was fun.
Well, we were what were we on Facebook Messenger at like midnight or something?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to tell you exactly where you were, but I knew where you were close. That was fun times.
Yeah.
But what was really, really cool. And Turner kind of had this idea. Turner Leslie, if you guys don't know, he's our relationship manager. And he was really instrumental in this launch. And we thought, okay, what would be really cool? Something huge that like these affiliates couldn't ignore, but they could use in different ways. And so we came up with this idea to get these huge, like Price is Right, Publisher Clearinghouse type checks. And we didn't realize how expensive these would be to send. Like we had to source them weird. They had to make special boxes. And so we sent I think it was $25,000 we sent.
25,000.
3rd place. And we sent it over and we're like, well, let's see what these affiliates do. And then what was it? 2 weeks ago, Doug, I saw one of the coolest, like tear-jerking kind of posts on Facebook. You tagged me and I was humbled. It was really, really cool to see what you did with that earnings, because I think you've reached this level of, you've had some earnings now, you've had some income, and you're just telling Laura and I before we hit record that it's not about that as much anymore. It's a little bit more about impact. So tell us kind of what happened after that contest.
Yeah. For me, it's like, I always talk about new aims. One of my coaches once said, you paid off your student loan, you got the 2 Comma Club award. And I just kind of got stuck at a point. And, as entrepreneurs, like we just want to keep growing. And he said, you need a new aim. And he's like, what's the new aim? I said, the 10X award. He goes, no, that's not it. It's like, you already did these awards and you're saying like the fulfillment wasn't there and you need a better aim. So honestly, I look at ClickFunnels and some of the leaders in the industry like Russell and Tony Robbins, and what they're doing is giving back. And a lot of people say, they give back, they'd write the checks. But like when I see Russell going to Africa to build schools and he's doing it, I just stumbled across a cause by accident down in Mexico called Baja Bound, and they build homes for families in need down there. And their quote is like, get kids off the dirt ground, because these kids are living in 5x5 huts with families and siblings. And it just really moved me. So I have gone on 3 of these, and I said, I want to sponsor one about a year ago. And this was a perfect opportunity. That check was able to build 2 homes for families in need 2 weeks ago. So it took us a while to get everything together. And the logistics of getting that check down.
Yeah, you physically took the check to Mexico.
And you guys, this check is so massive, where I did a live in my office here and I couldn't even get it in the frame. I was just like, if you watched my Facebook recently, it was like, you couldn't even get it in the office, but it was so cool to be able to give that. And part of what I announced back when this was going on, because I didn't honestly expect to be top 5. I mean, I knew when I showed up to ClickFunnels during that live launch, I wasn't even really doing anything with the launch. And then I got motivated there to do something. By Friday, you guys said I was top 10. I'm like, let's go. So I said, if we finish top 5, whatever the check is we get is going to go to this cause. So and cool. We brought 36 people down 2 weeks ago. I mean, it was so moving for people to see. Now we've got other people doing builds and sponsoring kids to go to school. And we're going to keep repeating this. And in fact, it was so impactful. One of our clients got a tattoo on his elbow of the Baja Bound in my logo from it. I thought that was pretty awesome.
That's when you know you've made it, right? Is like Harley Davidson. I don't know if you guys know Jeff Bannock. Like I ran across him in Vegas one time, like literally just happenstance. He's got a big old ClickFunnels, tattoo. So when somebody's tattooed your stuff and your vision on them, Doug, you're doing something right, man. And that's the hat you're wearing too, is the Baja Bound.
Baja Bound. Yep. You see it right there. Cool. Got a new fresh one because my last one got a little painted on at the last build, but
that's a really beautiful story. But like you've made it when you've gotten the awards, you've paid your student loans, you've paid back all of these things, you have the things that you want financially, and now you are creating impact by giving back. Like what now? Yeah,
it's where I'm at, honestly. 4 years ago, I set 5 goals for myself, and we're coming up on completing the 5th one right now. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it here for this week, published after the announcement. Get this part out if I'm not allowed to say it. But my goals were to pay off my student loan, earn the Dream Car Award, 2 Comma Club Award, join Russell's Inner Circle, and speak on stage at Funnel Hacking Live. And I haven't really thought beyond what's next until recently. And on that first mastermind, when we OFA competition, we got top 10 in that leaderboard. We went to McCall, and as you guys know, Dave was there running that. And I remember having a conversation late night, and we were there, and we had a conversation about tithe and giving 10%, and like how Russell does it and he does it, and never really thought about that conversation much until recently, and just. I see the faith-based entrepreneurs and what they give back and how much more they're able to do with the things they're doing. So that was really moving for me. And Dave, as you guys know, is like one of the best men I've ever met in my life. And I'm like, what's more than just the 10X award? And to me, it's the Dave Woodward Award to honor his name. So I'm excited to really go for that next big goal. Because you're going to $30 million, you got to be doing something to bring it in. So,
well, for those of you who don't know, the Dave Woodward 2 Heart Award is for entrepreneurs who give back $1 million to charity. Doug, I love that you brought up Dave too. I can't tell you how many times, and this is homage to him too, this whole ClickFunnels radio relaunch that we're doing, Laura and I, is really to pay homage to him. And, I worked under him for 3.5 years, and what a special individual. But here's what I love that you just mentioned, that Russell doesn't shy away from, is this faith that also is behind ClickFunnels and the community here too. And giving back is a core part of that. And what is always fascinating and interesting is those who are willing to be fluid with their money. It usually is, when they give back, they're getting that much. When they give back to others, they're getting so much more in return, whether it's financial or whether it's emotional or spiritual or anything else. I think it's Myron Golden's that said, your fist is so tight, you're holding on to your money so tight that you can't even grab any, right? But if you open that up and then give, that's when you start to receive as well. So, and of course, Dave, was such a good example. He found those moments to just have that one-on-one conversation, like with Doug or with me, and you had these little teaching moments. So cool.
Yeah, what a shining example of what it is to give back and to be so happy and honored to be able to do that, especially for somebody who saw so much success in business. And so, like, it's really not that long, your timeline from, when you got started and the success that you saw and the financial gain, and to already be at this point where you want to and you're able to give so much back is so powerful that, people watching this or listening this in a couple of years could be doing the exact same thing.
Absolutely. And I think it's like I used to tell myself, I don't have enough to give, but I mean, anything, even a little amount, even if you feel like it's not enough, it might be embarrassing to give what you can. Like Chris said, it comes back to you, not just in money. Like every time I've done a build, there's been some kind of breakthrough right around the corner in health and wellness, relationships, and business as well. So I think that it's just something special I never experienced before. And I'm excited to go for this goal. And it's not me alone. It's my community, the people we're reaching. So it's just really awesome. I appreciate you guys being a big part of that.
This reward too that you get out of this, like I said, financial, everything else, does not come without sacrifice. So a couple questions here is, one, what was the hardest thing that you had to go through in this journey? And then maybe in relationship to that, what would you tell 4-year-old, 4 years ago, not 4-year-old, maybe you tell 4-year-old Doug something, but like 2018, 2019 Doug that could barely afford to go to the conference, what would you tell him?
Hardest thing for me was making a pretty tough decision for me. I know when I was making the decision about 4 years ago, looking at my current environment and the people, I love my friends and family back east. It was hard to leave Connecticut. I was born and raised there. The only time I was away was for college. And I went on a retreat out to San Diego. From there, I joined a mastermind just to get in the right room with the right people. I'm like, these people are out there, younger than me, building 7-figure companies. I got to be around it. And they're talking about these house builds and the things they're doing. And I had 4 more trips to San Diego back then. Every time I was delaying my flight or staying an extra week. And I ascended in a program to their year-long mastermind, which had 8 retreats a year or 8 meetups a year in San Diego. So I'm like, you know what? It's going to be better if I just live there. So I did pack up everything, donated what I could, filled my car, whatever couldn't fit my car stayed. And I shipped my car out to San Diego, and I've been here a little over 3 years now. So that was a tough decision. And I'm not saying like move across the country, but like look at your environment and who's in it and go find the people and get in the right rooms. And I think that's really, I believe, why I am where I am today.
I love it. Maybe, Laura, we get tactical here for a second. Like, I want to revisit this 5,000 list because you're doing
exactly like I've been wanting to bring this up again. So
yeah, you've got 5,000 people.
Yeah.
What are you doing that's working?
Unbelievable. So what are you like, if you are not just utilizing your list and mailing those, active 5,000 people on your list, like what's your secret?
Yeah, I think the answer is not anything everyone's going to be surprised by, but I think it's doing what people aren't willing to do. Like when I think about leaderboards, I'm not a full-time affiliate. I love those things, especially when I find things I could really get behind. There's only a few things I've really went all out on. Most of it's ClickFunnels stuff. In addition to Grant was one of the new things we did. We'll be doing something with Dean and Tony in the fall, but it takes a lot to stop me to go and put all my energy into that. But that's what we do. We will put all of our energy into that and just focus on fulfillment for our clients and really halt sales and marketing and go position, which I think a lot of people aren't willing to do that for their companies. And I see the value, especially when you guys have a top 10 leaderboard. I get really competitive. And I mean, spending, a day with Dan and Russell, like that's priceless to me. So I'm like, I'm going to be in that top 10 to be a part of that. But also I know I'm certain and the confidence behind the products. And I'm such a fan of ClickFunnels. So I really gave people an incentive to opt into the challenge funnel, 2.0 challenge funnel. I gave them an incentive to upgrade to VIP. I gave them an incentive to buy the offer, which was 8 weeks of coaching with me beyond the launch itself. So I think it was just really being intentional, talking to every single person. Like when I think about those 5,000 people, I know most of them. I have conversations in Messenger with them. I've met some of them in person. Most of them are customers, which is really cool. So I think it's, 5,000 person email list. And some people might be like, that's actually quite a lot. And I think so too. But when you're going against people at 1.2 million on their email list, like some people is like, I was so proud of my team and just what we were able to accomplish with that. But I think it's just putting that intention in it and saying, what do they really need beyond just this challenge, and what can we bonus package up and help them beyond it? So I think that's what really allowed us to do that.
I love, Doug, that as somebody who shared so much about giving, your promotional method is giving.
It's what worked from day one. How I hit the dream car was I started a free community. I built a course I knew I could sell, and I just focused on giving away to 1,000 people. And that's like 2 months in, we had our affiliate links in that course and got to the dream car. So it's funny, what worked 4 years ago and what worked most recently for this launch and Grant's launch is really the same principles. So I think a lot of people just want to go and get the cash, right? But I think it's like, what can I give? And I think that is the advice I'd give to myself 4 years ago is don't focus on the offer and the launch. Just keep focusing on showing up for your community and it'll come.
Add value. Yeah, that's great. I do have a question because you mentioned that you had 5 goals and you went over what those were. And I'm just really curious. It's really out of my own curiosity. Like, do you do any, like, what do you practice to try to realize those goals or make them happen? Is there anything that you do to help manifest those things?
So I don't know if I have it in. I do have it in here. Dream Car Award, it's always been the same. I always have some representation of it. Dream Car Award, same thing. I had it on my wall. This was something I drew up a few years ago and hung on my wall.
This is fantastic.
Wow.
And for those who are just listening on audio, this is a chalkboard drawing that's framed that he hung on his wall here for the 2 Comic Club Award.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you look at my background, this has been going on since 2019. It's me etched, photoshopped on Funnel Hacking Live stage.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I do a lot of, it's cool to look at my board I have in my garage when I work out, and a lot of it's just coming to fruition. And it's like, if just people got out of the past and became more present and just like focused on what's to come, and gratitude's been huge for me. I'd say those are the things that really helped all these 5 come to fruition, and be patient, because it's been.
I'm so glad I asked. Like, that is a beautiful thing. Like you have the literal visuals of what you want to manifest, and you're making those things happen. Like, I think that's it's incredible.
And I think it's feeling it too. It's like we could look at a visual, but feeling as if, and over the years, it's been, sometimes I'm impatient, I get frustrated, but then it's like I've realized the more gratitude I have, and there's a Bible verse it's been showing up. Yesterday it showed up 5 times on different calls. It was so fascinating. But it's Luke 16:10, and it's talking about pretty much like, if you could manage what you have and show that you're a good steward, you're going to get more. And I thought it just keeps coming up for me, and I'm like,
parable of the talents, man. Yeah,
it's just, oh man, it speaks to me. And it literally came up 5 times. Me and my one of my staff were talking about it. We got on a call. The next call, that person brought it up. The second call, the owner of Baja Bound brought it up. And then my third call with one of my coaches brought it up. And I was just like, there is something here.
Wow. That's so cool. So, hey,
story. Everything that you've shared with me today, like I wish I could physically show you how many times I've gotten goosebumps with you sharing your entire journey, and how it's been all about giving back, and how that has led to so much success in your business, and how receiving, it just means more giving. And it's just helping you grow immensely. And I think that's it's a huge story for all of our listeners, and anyone who is maybe even just like thinking about starting their own business, and they feel like they have a calling, and that all of these things are so possible because you are visualizing, you're feeling, you know what you want out of this, and you're not willing to give up, and you are overcoming all of these different challenges and obstacles. And you came from a place where like you weren't sure if you could afford a ticket to Funnel Hacking Live, and that put you on the trajectory to where you are now. And I think that it just speaks in volumes for what one decision can do for you.
Yeah, now I'll just go in there a little bit, because I think it's important for people to hear. When I was at Funnel Hacking Live 2019, I literally had someone buy my ticket and my flight, my hotel. I was just getting underway with the ClickFunnels affiliate program back then. So I knew I had, it was so fresh that I still was in the 30-day wait period for that, for the distributions. So I knew I could pay that person back. But I was in that room with like checking my bank balance to make sure I had enough for lunch and stuff. And at that event, I went home. That's when I really started, getting fired up. It was February, hit Dream Car in March. So I think there's no coincidence there, but it wasn't just being in the room. I remember, and you'll still catch me to this day, I'm at Funnel Hacking Live. You want to find out where I am during the awards ceremony? I'm front row. After I get my stuff, I'm in front row taking photos and videos for everybody up there. And I'll watch it every time, because I remember the first time being there watching, I'm like, the belief came when watching all these people cross the stage. I just talked to that person and this person. I'd meet them afterwards. And then Shane Larson coming up to me like, you're going to be up on that stage. I'm like, really, you think so? And the belief and the confidence in him to say that to me, like, I'll never forget that moment. So I think you'll meet people that will inspire you, that will believe in you. And even if you don't know what kind of business you want to do, like I didn't know back then, you just stay on the path and the next thing's going to show up for you. So
thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm certainly inspired by it, and I know everyone else listening will be. And it's such a beautiful, heartwarming story about giving back. And I'm just really, really, really impressed with what you've done in the years since starting, and it's really powerful. So thank you for that.
And if you listen, for those people who are listening, watching, if you have not been to Funnel Hacking Live, Doug's not like an exception here. Yeah. Like a lot of times, we got to put fine print or something like results not typical. Well, maybe that's true. But I can tell you, out of the 2,000 plus people that have won 2 Comma Club awards, it's uncanny how many stories are like that. Like, boy, you talk about, Steven Larson, right? How he could, he's trading funnels for hotel rooms, back in 2017 in San Diego at Funnel Hacking Live. I mean, this is a reoccurring theme over and over. So as a plug too, if you haven't been, go to funnelhackinglive.com, get your tickets and come join us. We're back in Orlando. But as we kind of close down here, I want to know, Doug, like, what is working best in your business, and like, what are you most excited about? Like, what's the one tactical tip or something that people can really gravitate to and grab onto from this podcast?
Yeah, something that's really working for me. I never felt too confident in, cold messaging and booking calls and closing on the phone, and just really looked at what Russell was doing, just providing immense value. And, when you do see an offer from Russell, it's one to many. And I thought that was so fascinating. So 3.5 years ago, when I put up my first program, I did an event, a virtual event, and just made the offer one to many. And to this day, we still do that. We have programs ranging between, $1,000 all the way up to $30,000. And I don't do sales calls. My team doesn't do sales calls. And it just feels so liberating. And it's because of what Russell has done with 5-day challenges. So our model right now is weekly trainings that we create content from, and then one live challenge every single month. We run that same event and make our offer to the right people in the right room. And it's been working really, really well for us. It's for growing our coaching program.
Do you evergreen this challenge, or is this something you're doing live every month? Talk to me about that.
It is live every month. Recently, I've been looking into a couple tools to do a hybrid of like replay for the general sessions, and I'll still do VIP live. And I see what you guys are doing with the Your First Funnel Challenge. I'm so inspired, like running it every week as it's live, but it still has that live community aspect to it.
Sure.
So we're absolutely looking at that. But also like the Mifki, like putting into same thing I did 4 years ago. I didn't realize it was a Mifki, but giving out something free of value that has in it a step to the next thing, which is our event. So having a free course on challenges leading to our 5-day challenge, and then an offer there. So it's kind of like, in a sense, the linchpin, which is Russell's main thing that I'm excited to learn about at Funnel Hacking Live and dive in deeper to. And I see a lot of people following that model to success. Yeah.
He's doing incredible things with that. And for those of you who don't know what Mifki is too, this is something that comes from Dan Kennedy, right? He deems it the most incredible free gift ever. And it doesn't even have to be free, but it's something that people want. Russell will always say, hey, it's the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition or the football phone, right? It's that's kind of some of the examples that they used. And you can use that in any business. Russell right now, Laura, is running how many? 12 companies? I think something like that. And he's literally using,
at least close to that. It's a lot.
Yeah. And he's using this linchpin model with the Mifki in how many of those?
Well, he's working on creating the linchpin model for all of them. And if he doesn't have them in place, the plan right now is what is the continuity program we want to get the Mifki people into? And from there, planning out the dramatic demonstration for each of these businesses. Let's get this linchpin model in place, and then we all know it works.
Yeah, you'll be hearing more and more about that too. Doug's implementing it. So many other people are implementing it. But before we wrap up, Doug, where is the number one place where people can find you if they want to follow you, if they want to opt into your stuff? What's the best place for them to go find you?
Yeah, I'm proud to say this, but we've been 4 years without a website. And now I could officially say you can go to DougButton.com to get more information on that. So I appreciate you asking
Awesome.
that. And it just shows you don't need a website or a logo to go and build the business of your dreams. Just start with a funnel. And I'm excited now to go and put everything somewhere where people could get more information no matter where they're at in the journey.
Love it. And couldn't happen to a nicer guy too. Like this is what I love about this community. It is real, genuine, hardworking people that have a vision and a dream and are driven. And Doug, you represent that so well. So you are a great representation of our community. So we just appreciate you.
Thanks so much, Doug.
Thank you, Laura. Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Bye, everybody.